What's up, everybody? This is That Brown Bat here for Merry Christmas time. Merry Christmas time, but Christmas is snow. No, only if you want it to be. Jesus wasn't born in the snow, so there we go. All right, so for this Christmas episode, I am going to build or rebuild this tiny town of Agrabah, or Agrabah base. It doesn't have to be Agrabah just because they're Agrabah pieces. But it can be anything you want. But 2 years ago, I promised that I would do this, and I never got around to the tutorial. This is based on, it's based on Octopath Traveler, and it's a side-scroller. And we're going to set that up as well. And the main idea behind this is to not have your character get lost in the scenery. Another idea behind this is to contain a storyline within a city. We don't have to build a city it's as big as Assassin's Creed or something like that. You'll run out of space really quick, as I've done in the past. But when the storyline, something like this, is usually sufficient for people that just want to build and have a little quest. You know, there's enough areas in here that looks like it could fit another town, and leave the rest to your imagination. All right? Okay, so the basics behind it. I already started one over here, but I can nix these for a bit and put it back in. We're going to base everything around a 12 by 12 block. All right? And right here, the one I have, this terrain block, is 12 by 12 by 6. It's 6 blocks tall and 12 blocks wide and 12 blocks long. Okay, so I'm going to put that down here. And the other thing we're going to do is, you've already seen it because I just deleted them, but we're also going to take these large cliff pieces and put them around the edge like this. And that is going to give us an additional block and a half of build space. And once we get done and we set the camera, it's gonna trick our minds into thinking that it's something more than what it is, and then leave everything up to your imagination. One of the things I've figured out throughout the years is we all have different imaginations. We all think differently. So you might imagine the rest of the city differently than I might imagine it, which is good. You know what that means? It means we're all individuals. All right, so I'm going to delete this piece right here just so I can get a better measurement of what's going on. The biggest thing that we want to do, or the most important thing that we have to do and take account for, is these stairs. So if you look at it, we need to make room for 2 blocks right here, and then another one right here. Now you can put these anywhere you want, but you want to make it closer to the middle, because it kind of doesn't make sense if you put it at the end. It doesn't have to be directly in the middle, as this one is, but close, okay? So one of the things you can do is count in half. And I'm just going to rip this apart anyway, so you can see right here I got the red border. Yeah, we're going to use a lot of tricks with the replayer in order to get this in. But this first staircase, I'm going to put directly in the middle. Okay, it's just to make things easier. Now, note that this is 2 blocks long. All right, so the next one, you're going to come up here and you're going to twist around like this. All right, and then you're going to come up one like that. So the next level is going to be 3 blocks taller than this. Okay, the other thing you want to take into account for is you want your road to be at least 3 blocks, or at least 2 blocks wide. But we're going to have it 3 in certain parts, but we're going to put a big building in here. You don't want to put too many big buildings in, as the big buildings are going to make it harder for you to see the character, or could potentially make it harder to see your character. And it really could, it could make things a little bit claustrophobic. So this building right here is a 3x3x3. All right, and there's lots of other buildings that are 3x3x3, but maybe you weren't thinking about that yet. Maybe you're just preparing for something else. So what I'm going to do, we're going to block this out, and I'm going to take regular terrain blocks, and I'm going to set the theme to the regular terrain blocks to Frosted White World. And so everything that's Frosted White World is potentially going to be another building or a wall. Okay, so this right here is going to go right there. So we're going to have an overhang over here on this ledge piece, and we're going to have a part here where you can walk. So that's your road. Plus, when we put this back in, that's going to give us our extra walking space. Okay. So now we're going to block this off a little bit more, and we're going to, I'm just going to use these. And hang on a second. I may have, I did. What would a brown bat episode be of Let's Build without messing up? I don't like it when you mess up. Well, guess what? Alright, so I'm only doing this for the people that want to see it. I don't need your smart aleck remarks. Alright. Again, I'm just fleshing these out. I could just use these. I could use whatever you want just to flesh this out. All right, so the easiest thing is follow me like 50 times. All right, follow my steps 50 times, and then take the test, and then you're able to build on your own. And I'm just making this up, but we're just fleshing these things out, filling these things in, and then we're going to rip pieces apart piece by piece, and then we're going to put buildings in. All right, so this is going to be our first part. So now I'm done with this first part. I'm going to put that back in, theme that back to desert, so we're good with that. Come on, there you go. All right. You know what? I was just going to fill in the gaps, but it doesn't matter if I fill in the gaps yet or not. I'm just getting a block area here. So now I'm going to take this piece. All right? I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to copy it. We can do that right now. All right? But this goes up 6. All right. Well, mistakes have been made. But we want it to go up 3. So we want to find the half version of that. There we go. So now we have our 12 by 12 by 3. Put that down. Theme it to desert. I said theme it to desert. There we go. Thank you very much. And bring. There we go. Now we have the next level of floor. Now we want the road to be in here going across 3. You can do it 2, but I'm going to do it 3. And the reason I'm doing it 3, it's going to match this. So if you look here, we have 1 space, 2 space, then 3, 3.5 based on the angle of the rock. All right, here you have 1, 2, 2.5. So we're good. But you might not want to do this. You know, sometimes, you know, if you're doing a cliffside area, you might want to cram a large cliff in there, or there's a smaller one. The easiest way to find it is go to terrain and then go to find the smaller one. I'm just giving you ideas and ahead of time, and then you can put that in there with a replayer in certain builds. But we're not going to do that. That's just, we might do that. Let me look over here. No, we're not. We're not going to do that. I'm just looking at that. No, we didn't do it. We can come back and do it later, but it just depends. That's not that big of a deal. But anyway, 3. We're going 3 back. Note to self: stop explaining yourself to people that don't care. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. If you want to hear that brown bat not ramble, go over to the Mod Messing channel where everything is scripted, and I have not rambled yet on that channel. Okay, so Cantaline llores. So now I need to just block that out. I'm just going to block it out, just so I know where the road is. I'm just going to take this. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many of the 3x3s can we get in here? And do we want, here's the thing, do we want a 3x3 directly in the middle for the arch? And I'm going to say yes, it makes it a little bit better to have it directly in the middle. So if we put this, the arch being 3x3, put that directly in the middle, and want everything to butt up against it, then we're going to measure everything out like this. All right, so it's overhanging. Absolutely, it's overhanging. All right. If you look at here, did I use a 3x3? Absolutely, I did use a 3x3 for that. Like I said, we want that to be directly in the middle or in the middle of where the staircase is. All right, so if it's directly in the middle of that staircase, we're going to have to move this one over like that. And we're going to have to compensate for that. We're not going to have that overhang that much. Just going to have to get the appropriate buildings to line up. And that should go, is that in the middle? You know what? Oh my goodness. What do you got to do stupid stuff like that for? You. This will be middle. Why do I feel like I already had it? That would be middle. All right, let's bring this stuff back over. Fine, yeah. That'll be good. And then just squeeze all this in. I'm trying to grab a hold of it. It didn't go. Just like that. And then delete the middle. Now you have a perfect middle, a perfect shot in here from this staircase. Okay? Now, before we continue, I would think it's going to behoove us to cram these in here because we want this to happen. Now we can take these and bring this down like that, and that's going to be perfectly fine. Or we can use a replayer to cram these in here. What do you want to do? See over here, I have it crammed in to make it nice and squozen. That is an MGL word. That is not my word. So I'm going to get the replayer out. Record on that, and let me turn that to desert. Let me set the theme. I think we're done blocking out with White World. I'm going to hit you like that. Actually, I'm going to bring you over like that, and then I'm going to delete this for now. Put that like that. Oh, how about we get the other end, the other side, before it's, saves some time. Delete those. We'll put them back in. Come back up like that. Put you in like that. Come over here. Clear. Hit record. And then just bring these up like that. Now maybe you want this to line up with this part hanging over, which is perfectly fine. Then you just get hold on. You know what we can do? Put that in there. Hold on. Just watch. Wait and watch. Put that in there. Put that in there. All right. Oh, come on. I don't know if I don't think my Zeb can climb. He might be able to. Clear. Hit record again. And we might have to adjust these later on. I'm just thinking that this is going to be the finale, but I might have to adjust that later on. Now, if I hit clear and play back, yes, it all came back in. All of it. Just like that. Yes, there's Z fighting there, but these are the ones, we're going to have to cap that off. So don't worry about that. All right? And I'm going to get rid of this because it makes a noise that I don't like in my headphones. And if I have to fix it, then I'll rip it apart and redo it. Now, what I'm going to do is go to building set group 6, or just grab a hold of that from Aladdin, or from the previous one, and start pulling pieces. Either way I do it, I'm going to do it. But if we're going to start from the bottom, we're going to start from the bottom. And I'm going to pretty much recreate this whole thing. So this square, Agrabah Citadel, is a 3x3x3. So it's going to replace this. Okay, and now we want to find this one that is a 2x3x2. I'm going to put this in here. Just like that. Okay. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Oops. Put you there. Then here, I'm going to put another one, but I'm not going to put this one down here because the door needs to be visible from that stair. So I'm going to move these underneath, but I'm not going to use the white world now. I'm going to use, I don't think there's any small pieces in here. I'm going to go to Simple Toys. All right, I'm going to get the part that matches. And I'm going to theme this to the, I believe it's Agrabah Stucco. Just the one, the bazaar. You have the palace and you have the bazaar, and then you have Fantasy Cottage. So I'm going to pick the one that matches the Agrabah buildings. So what we want to do is put those in there like that, and then pretty much just take all these and change all these into the simple blocks with that theme. Now this one right here, I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to fill these in underneath here so your player doesn't fall. You don't have to worry about this one way back there. That should be safe. But if you want to fill that in, feel free to put 2 extra blocks in there. But right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the ledge piece just to give it a little bit more flavor. And so I'm going to delete that. That means I'm going to have to adjust all that stuff that's back here again. So that means I could take that one piece like that, and then I can take a super long one and stick it back in there. See, that gives it a little bit more flavor. Now, I used to think maybe you could do that with this one as well. I mean, you can, but it's kind of weird, I think. Let me see. Is it still weird? Yeah, that's still weird because you can see that gap in there. But if that's an issue, if you want that, let's not and say we did. And you can also do this. That makes, I don't know, that looks a little bit better. For some reason, it does. So I'm just going to double those up like that and leave that square. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a railing around here. Now, before I use the city railings, but today I'm going to actually go to Toy Origin and see about using the Asgard one. Now, the only difference is the Asgard one you can slide on. I mean, the appearance is different too. This has a little bit more detail. But as far as functionality goes, this one has that sliding capability. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this short Asgard siding is one you want to stay away from. Yeah, so the collision was not fixed or perfected when they did it. So you can get stuck in there using the short Agrabah railing or the Asgard railing, so don't use that. So you're pretty much stuck with using 3 of these, or if you can, maybe you can get this a long one to stick in the Agrabah piece with the replayer. Let's try it. Record. Got it. Clear. Record. May or may not work depending on the properties of each toy. Clear. Playback. It worked. Okay. Now, you just saved a couple pieces. Now, if that is an issue, and it is, then you don't want to do that, because certain toys allow you to transcend when sliding through them, and yeah, you can actually glitch out your game. So, bad idea. So, let's not do that. Pretend we didn't do that, and then we have to use the railing end so we won't slide through it. And now we're actually going to use the tiny pieces, and now you won't go through the building. Okay, now that's that. Let us put more railings up here, because safety first. Okay, now here it's kind of bonkers, right? It looks bald. So what I did over here is I had gotten the tiny well, it's called a fence, the Agrabah fence. That's what I got, and then I put the fence up there. Just like that. Okay? And you can put those other places too. You know, if you want to put that here, you can do that. You don't have to. And there's no corner for the small ones. So you don't want to merge it, because these definitely will Z-fight. So guess it is what it is. You can use the Agrabah railing, or the yeah, these things. If that's something that you want to do as well. Again, we're making this small, so you're not going to really run out of space unless you build 1,000 of these. Oops, can't use that. You can, but you don't want to. There, that fits. Okay, now, up here. The first thing I'm going to do is get the the gate. All right. I don't want the small one. I want this one. Yeah. I was going to say you can use that one too. And then you could move all the buildings around if you want to use the keyway gate. But I'm going to use this one. Then I determine what kind of buildings I'm going to use here. Am I going to use all the same, or am I going to mix and match? You know, I'm going to use this. I can. That one, that's too long. So you don't want to use something that's too long. But this will fit. Right? And then over here, we just don't want to go over the ledge. So that'll work. And then if you're going to fill something in over here, what we want to do is just build. And so since it's based on a 2-player mode, or I'm sorry, a 2 side-scroller mode, it really is not going to be that big of a deal if they're the same. But one of the things I had down here is I made it a plaza. So I had them short, which I like this idea that I did. So to have them come in and be the short buildings, and then have the big ones come up so they could like be a city back there. So see if I can recreate that. What did I have at the okay, that's fine. I hate having to go over here. It's been 2 years since I did this. I hate having to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That means I have to get rid of these, at least these two. At least. And use these, because these are lower. Now we're gonna probably, let's see, let's stagger these so it doesn't look identical, because we're gonna cap the back off with more of the cliff side. So if we go back to terrain again, come on, oh, my big fingers are getting in the way. Up like that. All right, of course we're going to have to use the replayer again if we want to make it even going down, but you're not meant to see underneath it. But again, if you want it to be perfectly even, then yeah, you'd have to use the replayer to get the bottom parts stuck back in there. But now we have all the way around. Again, you're not meant to go down here anyway, so it's not going to make that big of a deal. But over here, we're going to make these stick up. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way. It kind of does, I guess, maybe. Just for visual, you might be able to see something out of your peripherals. And that'll allow that to stick up like that. And then you can have it overhang. Nobody's going to throw you in jail if you have that overhang a little bit. But you don't want the door overhanging. That's weird. You know? So if you have an overhang like that, you can actually go and get the windows. And you can do that if that's something that, you know, you wanted to do. And if you want, let's see. Oh, you don't want it to be that big. If you want it to pop up like that, maybe have that pop up like that. And that fits right on top, right like that. See how that's staggered? It's really nice, and nobody can tell that it's not meant to be. And maybe you want to move this one back like that, or maybe you want it to be longer like that. You know, maybe you want to get the windows in there. That's fine. And then maybe put that on top like that. It's completely up to you. But we're going to do it on this side. And this one, how about 1, 2, we'll go over just 1, 2. Now let's go to simple toys, right? Because we can always do this because we have simple toys that match the same color. And we can put blocks in there as well. Right? And that doesn't look that healthy. It looks kind of weird. So maybe you don't want to do that. Let's see. How are the Agrabah walls? That's something that you can definitely do. Oh, what? Hey. There we go. It doesn't blend in the way I would think. But if it's something you want to do, go ahead and do it. The main thing is when you're coming over here, you don't want your character to come over in a place where the camera is not going to pick him up. All right, but you also are going to need a building that's like the stopping point. I'm just trying to figure out which building we want. Doesn't matter. Either one, either side, that's what I was trying to look for. Let's do that. All right, now let's build this up over here. That might work. I think it does. Let me come over here. We get that. And I can raise that up, and then we can go back down to simple toys. Block that in like that. Just try not to make everything the same, and I don't want it to hang off that much. It's too big. Here, get this small one. Stick that in there like that. I think that'll work. I think that'll work. Okay, now we have all the decorations, the bits and bobs that are going to make it look even better. So awnings over every door, just about. Now the doors that are up on top, put awnings underneath. So it's not an awning now, is it? It's a what do you call it? Platform up. I can't remember what you call it. Yeah. Use that. What did I put over here? Oh, that's right. Hold on. Hang on. I did use those. Okay, back. But I used for the, what do you call it? Not a bazaar. Did I just start stacking these in here? What did I do last time? I went minimalistic because we used other things. Okay. When I say minimalistic, I meant... Alright, let's not put an empty one there. Let's use the one that has stuff. Okay. I also use these peg pieces. For some reason. Hey, what's going on? Oh, because the... Alright. That didn't work because the railing piece. That's fine. Completely fine. I'm going to nix that, and I'm going to put that there. Let me find a Agrabah window. We also have these. Wonder what that looks like if we do that. And then put this one down here. Maybe? Maybe, baby? Maybe, baby? Again, I'm trying to remember, without going over and looking every 5 seconds, exactly what I did. I'll probably put... Yes. Put you up there. Put you up there. I think that works. Yeah, that looks kind of weird to me. Having that. Yeah, it'll probably look better using... Maybe that. It's been so long. It looked better. The original one looks better. It looks better. I don't know why. I didn't use those big windows at all. I guess you have to use these sparingly. Because it ends up looking like... Maybe it's because I use this. Maybe that's what's causing it to look totally different. Yeah, maybe. Where's the wood? Here it is. Yeah, I definitely did not use these big ones right there. I don't think I did. Alright, so let's try to use small ones. Yeah, I am not an expert builder when it comes to the Agrabah pieces. That one that I built back then, a couple years ago, the one that's over to the left, it's kind of like an accident. That might work. How about this happens? And then a wall happens. And now we have Oh, because it's too big. There we go. There. And then take this, put you there. Now maybe the big window. Oh, we have another piece over here that is no longer being used. Stick you up there. Like that. Like that. Now we have a door in the corner. It looks kind of weird. We don't want that. How about we do this? Don't think we'll get Z fighting. We'll find out. Put you there. Clear. Record. Clear. Playback. All right, let's see if a helper agent will work. Hit play. That works. Yeah, I don't think there's any Z fighting. So where's the small one? So then I'll just do that. And then maybe a window over here, which is kind of odd, but it works. It works. Just trying to get pieces to go where we can have them. All right. We still have to finish decorating down here. Maybe I don't want that big awning down there like that, and I can just go like that. Then this needs some help. Right, like that. It's too bald up top. There we go. Okay. I think nope. This one needs some hair on it. All right. A little bit like that. All right. Now I need the Aladdin disc. And we're going to get some decorations. And either strip 1 or strip 2 or both. And so I'm going to find out which one's which. And I'm just using the X button to set the theme. All right, so we have some pots and then some carpets. What else do we have that we're going to implement? Some rugs. So what the pots, the small pots is T5. So we'll set T5 to the pots. We also have some Colby terrain going on there, so be careful if you're going to theme all. These don't matter where they go per se, but whatever looks right is going to be right. Whatever looks right to you, let's put it that way. All right, so do we want a mixture of rugs and carpets or carpets only? All right, and you don't want to block the stairs, so be careful where you put them. That should be fine. I like to be symmetrical. We also have some palm trees there. Now, are those palm trees toy box palm trees or decoration palm trees? I think they are toy box palm trees. When I say that, I mean they're not clusters, I don't think. So I'll go to decorations and trees. Yeah, it's these ones. So what I did here is I just made it so they were part of the archway. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, and stick these down here. Now, if you want them to go in like this or like that, it's perfectly up to you. I'm going to have it with the curve hanging out so I don't run into it when I'm in 2-player mode. This one, it's not going to matter as much, I don't think, because I think there's a little bit more area up here. All right, so what else do we have? Well, what's T4 is Aladdin. T4 is what? An Aladdin palm tree, and we're not using those palm trees because the pirate one looks better. T3 is what? Oasis palm tree, and we're not going to use that. T2 is what? Marketplace barrels. Do we have a place for marketplace barrels? We could stick these here. Now notice there's a red. All right. So one of the things, easiest thing to do is to see if we have something that's smaller that'll fit. Sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. So just cycle through that and see if there's something small that we can squeeze in there without any other issues. And I don't think we have anything small this time. Yeah, I don't think that'll work. So one of the things we can do is use the replayer, which would be the easiest thing to do. So let's try the replayer first. If it works, then we'll just do with that. So I'm just going to hit the awning there. I'm going to hit clear. I'm going to hit record. All right, I'm going to bring this in like this. Now, one of the things that you can do with the terrain pieces when you have it on record is theme it, and it'll be the same as picking it up. So that's a little trick for you, free of charge. Hit clear, hit playback, see if it works. Nope, I'm going to hit clear, hit reverse playback. Now it works. Okay, good. Done. All right, so now we have that. What else can we bring in here? What is T1? T1 is... Oh, you don't want to go without these. This is the other stand, and I'm going to put that in here like that. I'm going to put the other one right in here like that. And if I want it to go in the corner, I'm going to use the replayer to get that in there. Hit record. Got that. Hit clear. Hit record. Grab that. Bring that over right like that. Hit record. Reverse playback. Good. Done. Bye. Okay. And that should do it, except for the fact that I have a door up here and I don't want somebody to open up the door and just walk out and fall. So now we have safety precautions there. And if we want, do I have a fence up on top of that one? Yes, I do. I have fences all around. So we can use more Asgard fence, or we can use the Agrabah fence. It's totally up to you which one you want to use. Probably, if you're trying to save space, you would probably go with this one right down here. And I'm just going to stick that up on top like that. And then finish this out on top with the Asgard one. Now, what are we going to do for roads? Well, you already seen over here, I have Pirate Town roads. So I'm going to take the Pirate Town roads. Also, I have some more stalls here that I had in the original one that I might replace. Well, it doesn't matter. Let me just see. Do I have that lined up? I feel like what? Like I'm being watched. All right, so we want to have definitely the sidewalk going to the stairs and alongside the stairs. To the stairs and alongside the stairs. Now you can do this. You can do this. However you want. If you don't have to use all the other pieces if you don't want. There's no rule. So I'm going to use that. That'll work. And then just extend this out. And if I wanted that to line up, then I would have to move this again and then stick that road underneath it. And I'm not going to do that. But if you want this to be a proper corner, then you would find your proper corner and do that. And let's see, go to decorations again. What are we looking for? T1? I think T1. Yeah, we can set that there. I would like to set this here, so I'm going to have to use the replayer again. Hit record. Let's get these. I'm just going to go like that for that one, and then do that. Maybe not, because it's going to go, yeah, it sticks to the window. We're good with one. Clear it, record, and find a good spot for this. I think that'll work. You want to? Nah. Clear, reverse playback. Alright, that didn't take. Regular playback. Alright, let's use a helper agent. Let's take our trigger area. Hit play. There we go. Done. Done. And how about getting one of those small pots in here? Just like that. Oh, we didn't check out, see what the corners were. What are the corners? We have the poop pile, and we have more palm trees. No. Alright, we don't have to have every piece in here, so no poop. All right. I think we're good. Are we good? Are we good? Are we ready to go? I think so. We just need to hook up the side scroller. All right. So Game Maker. Up 3. Find your sidestep camera. Set it. Go to properties. Glow through off. Use camera position to set zoom distance off. Zoom distance 15. You can adjust this accordingly. We're going to say 15 and vertical up 3. Just my preferences. We're going to want something to start this. Game Maker. Up 3, there we go, and then let's get the trigger area. And new logic connection, exited player 1. Activate. And then just shrink this. Just like that. Now, you can have it over the start, or you can have it over a checkpoint that's going to teleport you to an area, however you want it. In this instance, oh, I do have extra palm trees in here. Yeah, but they're not necessary to use all the extra ones. All right. We also have some other pieces in here, like this nice bluff. All right, well, I'll see what I can do about that, but in the meantime, I'm deleting all this stuff from before. What's funny? Oh, nothing's funny. Everybody funny. Now you funny too. Never mind. I thought I was having issues with something else, but no. We're just going to take the end plate, so when we spawn in, and as soon as we move, we're going to trigger the camera. So I don't need that one anymore. I had that hooked to a switch. I had that hooked to a day-night cycle. We can do a day-night cycle if you want. But yeah, that's gonna hook that up. Let's see. If we want the bluff in here, so I'm looking at that, and before I didn't have this building here. It was just sand. But if we want to bluff in here, we might not be able to get it in here without ripping everything apart. So let's try it. I don't think we can. We cannot. So, we would have to rip everything apart and put these in first. And the way I have it right now, because I built this different, I'm not seeing where a bluff would be necessary. There is another thing that we have access to that probably not going to use, but I'm going to show you it anyway. That is this large sand dune. Some people don't know this, but this large sand dune can be rethemed. I just wanted to show you that. But I do not think that this large sand dune can be put anywhere you want. Let's try it. If we can, then we can have fun with it. If we can't, then I'm not going to bother with it. We cannot put that wherever we want. But just know that if you are going to put that in the background, you can theme it to whatever you want. And same thing with the Agrabah sandbank, which would be a little bit easier to get in here, but I can't see a place where I would need this. That might behoove us to do something like that. But the sandbank can also be themed to other things. So, FYI. If you ever need it. Yeah, that sandbank. If you want to rip stuff apart, you can do that. Again, I don't want to rip anything apart. But if you're building something bigger, just plan ahead of time if you want to put sand dunes and stuff like that, hills and whatnot. But if you want to cram, I'll give you something easy if you want to cram something in here. If you wanted to cram, yeah, I wouldn't recommend putting poop in there, but I'm trying to see. Where would we put this if we put it in there? You know, if you want to put this, let's say you want this here, okay? This is what you do. Set the theme. Select it. Put it down. Put a second one down. You don't always have to put a second one down, but it's a surefire way to do it perfectly. Then hit Y to undo. Alright? Now guess what? I can't put it down. I can't put it down. Set it where you want it to go. Then toggle your left and right switch. Your D-pad. Now, it leaves it there with a red border. Put this last one down. And then go into spark mode. And you have to theme all. So make sure you have everything situated and you have it planned out if you have other themes in the toy box, like Colby Terrain or Death Star or whatever, because you're going to have to fix everything. So okay, I'm going to hit Y, theme all. Okay, and then I'm done with that, and I'm done with that. But you're not done with this. You have to individually theme this, otherwise it will not show up when you reload the toy box. So now it's individually themed. Now you're good to go, that it is there permanent until you delete it. So you can do that with the decoration piece, the cluster pieces like here, and you can also do those with the rail slides. Just to let you know. All right. Now how about we go up to unfiltered. Get a sky changer. Now, I don't have Aladdin's Sky Dome in the slot. So if I go here, it's not there. It's not in the roster here. I have to have the Sky Dome available. So what I'm going to do, I want to select it. I'll leave that there, but I'm going to get the Sky Dome. You don't have to use it. You just want a day-night cycle. And I'm going to get 2 timers. Down 2. Get 2 timers. If I can find it. Where are you, little timer? I am looking forward to find you. Here it is. I am looking forward to find you. I'm looking forward to finding you. All right, so let's set each one. Properties, target time, 30 seconds. Visible display off. And just go back into properties, make sure sometimes it's 30, or when you change the time, it doesn't stay. 30 seconds, visible display off. Go back in, check it, good. All right, now let's get a switch. New logic connection off. We're going to say reset for both. All right, new logic connection on. We're going to get 1. Start. Okay, new logic connection on. We're going to start off with, let's say Aladdin. I can find it. It's there. You've probably seen it, but I didn't. But I know it's there. Oh, because it's called Jasmine's Palace View, not Aladdin. Ah! Alright, let's try that again. No logic connection on. Jasmine's Palace View. Be careful when you hit cancel. Don't hit cancel. That's simple. I don't know why I was trying to do that. Just habit, I guess. Alright. So then, new logic connection, time expired. We're going to come over here and we're going to change it to nighttime. Nighttime is the right time. And nighttime without mods is Sinister's take home sky, right? Alright. New logic connection, timer expired. Go to the next one, start. Second one, new logic connection, timer expired. Now you can either hit on, or you can go over here and go back to Aladdin. Or Jasmine, whatever. Alright, then triggering the timer, or the start, the switch. Exited player 1. Same thing that's going to trigger that camera is exiting that. Then we're going to say on. If you want it off, you're just going to have to go into spark mode, fly over there and jump on it and shut it off. Now, this thing has an annoying sound that won't shut up when it is on, so, or off, or whatever. You definitely want to hide that switch out of the way because it's noisy. It's just as noisy as these. I think these make noise too. Yep. So the timers, the switches, the replayers, they have this high-pitched noise. And you want to make them go bye-bye. All right? So, I'm just going to delete all this. And we forgot something, but I'll be right back. Okay. And I did forget something, and that is extending the road, sidewalk, whatever, through the actual, if you want to call it the upper plaza, whatever you want to call it. All right, it lines up nicely, just like that. And then if you want to go left and right. Oops, what was that all about? I must have hit the Y button. Alright, so now we have that issue where I can't get these to go in there. So let's try to maybe find something I can theme this to that will allow me to stick that in there. Maybe this. Will that work? Come on, go back. Yes. Alright, so I got one. So I didn't have to use the replayer again. Okay. Now we can hide this out of the way too. Sometimes in Disney Infinity 3.0 this does not disappear. So you can hide this. It doesn't matter because the settings we put on this, it doesn't matter where you put it. As long as you have it facing the direction where you are, it's going to work. Right? So if I have it facing that way, it's not going to work. But as long as it's going to face where the character is, it's going to work. Alright, so I need to save this. Okay. Let's activate our switch. Now, if you notice when we went through the start area, we have this stupid prompt. And this has been a plague for many a Disney Infiniteer. Okay? This is how you get rid of it. The only one way I know how to get rid of it. You go to Game Maker, go down 3, go to Toy Box Game Maker. This is the only way I know how to get rid of that stupid prompt. But you have to be careful, otherwise you can lock yourself out of your game. New logic connection, exited, player 1, start test mode. Okay? Now if you want to, get a trigger in here somewhere, maybe not necessarily the same one that you're using to start the game, but hide it somewhere that only you know where it's at until, well, maybe you can just hide it anywhere until you know where it's at, or until you're done and ready to distribute this to somebody else, or just keep it there, whatever. Entered player 1. You don't have to use the trigger, you can use something else, but I'm just using that. End test mode. Okay, now this has a lot of settings in here that allows you to set the actual game. So you can turn the magic wand on, off, toy customizing on, off. By default, everything's off and allows any character, but you can restrict the character. From what I understand, if I understand correctly, this works on the PC, but it doesn't work on the console. I forget what works on one, but not the other. Oh no, it doesn't work with something with the Breeze mod, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever. We're not talking about mods, so forget about it. Yeah, so you can set the character, you can set the property, but by default, it's any. Flyers on. You can turn all this stuff off, but by default, it's any. The only thing it's not going to allow us to do is use the magic wand unless we go through that trigger area. So let me get this out of the way. And I will also, just in case, I'll take this no logic connection off and end test mode with that as well. Just in case I accidentally delete that stupid trigger area, which has happened on occasion in the past. See? Now I can't go into spark mode. I can. Now, it's funny. It's really not funny. Here's a little trick. If you reset gameplay on any game that has restrictions, you just broke it. So there's a little trick on how to break anybody's game that you want to get into spark mode if they locked you out. And that is the tutorial on how to build a tiny town or city in Disney Infinity. Now there's multiple themes and multiple different ways you can do this. Again, this is the basic construct of it. And I'm going to do one more. So you'll see that at a different time today if you stick around. And I hope to see you there. So until then, don't forget to keep on building. And I'll see you guys in the winter Christmas edition.